Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to Crochet Moments, episode 62. I'm Helen and...
Emily.
This is Emily. She's my youngest. And there's a special day next weekend, isn't there?
My birthday.
And how old are you going to be next week?
7.
So next weekend you're going to be a whole year older.
No, I don't want to be 7.
Yes, Emily's decided she's going to be the modern version of Peter Pan and never grow up. Okay, are you going to go get ready for bed now?
Good night.
No night, sweetheart.
Good night.
Love you. That's her at her cutest. She's not always that cute, I promise you. Yeah, so she's really looking forward to her birthday despite the grumpy faces. And she keeps saying she doesn't want a present, but I know that if on her birthday morning she does not wake up to at least one present waiting for her, she'll be very disappointed. So yes, we've got that to sort out. They're going to take her shopping at the weekend. So, episode 62. Again, I'm Helen. I'm a yarn addict. This is it's usually fortnightly confession of all things yarn. So I do have a naughty purchase. It's a purchase that didn't need to be made, but there was a fairly substantial discount. So as one of my previous comments on one of my previous videos said, if it's a sale, it doesn't count towards you breaking your diet. So I am still endeavouring to use as much of my stash as I possibly can this year. It doesn't mean I'm not completely yarn free. I am continuing to purchase occasionally, just not as heavily as I have been most recently. So yeah, I would like to say hello. I've had a couple of new subscribers drop on, so that's been quite nice, because it's I sort of had been stuck on 309 for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and I've had a couple drop on. I'm up to 311 as I film now. So if you are new here and you're not already subscribed and you want to see more of my content, please do hit that subscribe button or a like. Both things do good things for my channel, gets it up in the algorithm. I don't know how it works, it's way too technical for me. And yeah, so obviously I've been doing this for a few years now. And I like how my channel is so small because I feel like it feels more community, that you know you do have chat around in the comments, support each other. I'm fairly sure that a few of you contact each other outside of my channel, which is great. I love that because I started this channel because I don't have any yarny friends in real life, and my husband is fed up of hearing me talking about knitting and crochet and yarn. He just doesn't understand the attraction of it all. So this is very cathartic for me, because none of my friends who I spend time with particularly interested in hearing me talking about yarn and knitting either, so that's all good. So we're all friends here. So yeah, so obviously you can comment below if you have any questions. You can contact me. All my contact details are below. I am my email's down there, and my Instagram, I'm at Crochet Moments. I think is it crochet.moments or just crochet moments? I can't remember now. I haven't been particularly active on Instagram recently. I just haven't had time to keep up to date with it. I do have a Ravelry, but again, I very rarely use my Ravelry. Most of the time I'm just on Ravelry for looking at patterns, and I haven't even been on there to do that much recently either. So I've had, I've been using patterns that I already own, patterns from magazines on my Readly app, which I'll show you that soon because I'm working on something from a magazine that I get on there. Obviously I've subscribed to the Shapey's yarn bookazines, so I do occasionally work projects from those, and I've got something to show you for that today as well. So that's me basically. I've been knitting since I was age 9. My mum taught me how to knit. She attempted to teach me how to crochet, and I just could not get it until I was in my 30s. So I'm now, I think, how old? Emily is almost 7, and she was a baby when I finally got the hang of crochet. So I've obviously been crocheting a lot less time than knitting. However, I am more confident with my knitting than I am with my crochet than I am with my knitting. I'm just starting to experiment a bit more and try a few more skills. My skill set for knitting for a very long time has been stocking stitch and any variation of knits and purls. I haven't really ventured beyond that. I've made very few grown-up size things in knitting. It's always been little tiny babies and dolls, dolls outfits and things like that. So I am venturing into the bigger things. I'm venturing into more fibres, more yarn weights. It's always been DK, but I've been going into fingering weight. I've just recently finished a project in lace weight in crochet. I do have some chunky projects that I've worked on and such like. So it's been, there's a lot going on. I do. I also cross stitch, although I have to confess I haven't worked on my cross stitch that I've been working on for a little while. So that's me all up to date. So I appreciate the last episode was very rushed, so I'm going to try and slow down and be calm and collected and give you as much information about my projects as I can. However, my finished object that I have to show you today, I have zero information about it because I have just realised that I've left the bookazine. I took it back upstairs. Normally I keep everything downstairs in a pile ready to be shown, and I've taken it upstairs. The one time I listen to Simon when he asks me to take some of my knitting upstairs, I've done it, and I needed it. So anyway, my finished object, I've just got the one. I do have a half finished object as well though, and here it is. This is a sleeved scarf that I crocheted for myself, but Catherine wears it. Catherine loves it. So this scarf, you sort of do that. Oh gosh, don't know what that was. Oh, for some reason I have a Play-Doh cutter on the sofa. Emily. So this isn't going to work terribly well because it doesn't fit me. I made the large as per my measurements. Now I thought maybe it's my tension, maybe it's because I'm using a different yarn. So being a sheep from the Shapey's bookazine, I can't even remember. Let me see if I can find it on my Ravelry. Not my Ravelry. It'll be on here. Sleeved scarf. Aha, there it is. So it is from the Dutch Masters bookazine, which is bookazine 4, and in it has a knit and a crochet. That's the knitted one. There's the crochet one. So there it is there. And I followed all of the instructions. I made it a large because, so it's designed by Carmen, is it Jorison? It might be Jorison, it might be Yorkshire. And it was designed to be done with the Sheepy's mohair rhythm and the Sheepy's alpaca rhythm, which when held together, so they're both practically like lace weight yarns. So lace weight, one's lace weight, one's fingering weight. So those two together would make a DK. And going by the hook sizes, DK. So I made the large because I am a larger lady. I'm not as skinny as I used to be, and it doesn't fit. It's not necessarily the length. So the sleeves are very tight going up. They won't go any further up my arm than that and be comfortable. I know, I realise I'm wearing a long sleeve top now. This is probably better worn with just a t-shirt, but it's sort of, you wear it like that anyway. I've got very little movement in my arms there, so Catherine has stolen it. She's been eyeing it up the whole time I've been making it and saying, "Mummy, can you make me one when you're done with that?" And yeah, so the yarn I used is the Aldi DK in, I think it was burnt orange. I don't have any of the yarn bands left. So the sleeve is just front post, back post stitches, and there's sort of the increase that you do to make it into a large. For the small, you just don't do that increase, and then you just work this ridiculously long section completely straight, completely simple. This is perfect TV crochet because you just did not need to look at what you were doing. And I used 3 balls, 300 grams. I think I went just into the 4th ball of this colour that I had. So, and Catherine loves it because Catherine does have a tendency to feel the cold a little bit. And well, even when it's not cold, she says she is. She still wears her snuddy, which I haven't had to wear my snuddy. So we bought, for the winter, we bought these, they're almost like wearable blankets. They're really fleecy and they've got this lovely fleece lining, a nice soft sort of fleecy outside, with a hood and pockets. And we bought, everybody got one ready for the winter. For the colder nights, so we didn't have to use as much heating to save our pennies on the gas. And she still wears it. And right now it's 14 degrees according to my artificial intelligence that I have in the lounge, which I won't say her name because she will respond to me. And yeah, so what can I say? So there's that. I really enjoyed making that. It worked up fairly quickly. I think in total I probably worked on it for about a week. So, and that's not like really intensive working, just half an hour here, an hour here. So yeah, I think towards the end I did sort of sit there for 2 or 3 hours and just I'm crocheting until my hands hurt because I just wanted it done, because I was so excited to wear it. I didn't get to. Oh, let's get my out and about socks. So I have transferred these onto DPNs. Maybe I need to try the flyers at home. So got my higher flyers, and they are lovely needles. It's not the needles. I think it's just because I'm so used to using DPNs. I'm faster on DPNs, and with these I'm having to constantly look at what I'm doing, and that doesn't work for me sitting in a car as a passenger, because I start to feel a little bit nauseous. I do suffer occasional travel sickness, so that's a problem for me. So I have finished the first of these socks for Emily and cast on the second. So here is the first one. Ooh, it's a bit dark. There you go. There's the perfect colour there on the foot. It's getting to a point where Emily's feet are just longer and longer and longer. I do have a sock blocker to put this on, but it's buried under a lot of balls of yarn, so I didn't want to cause an avalanche. Otherwise this would be on a blocker to show it off at its best. So I've got all of my stitch markers there, so I can try and keep a match as best as I can. So they're just marking every 10 rows down the front of the sock. I always do heel flap and gusset. I do want to sort of experiment and foray into the afterthought heel, but I haven't quite been brave enough to do that yet. But I prefer to work cuff down. I have made socks toe up, and they're not ridiculously difficult. I just prefer cuff down. I have done the short row heels before. I just don't like how they fit on my feet. And Catherine's not overly keen on the short row heel either. Okay, so here is how far I am on the second sock. They're back on my Knit Pro Symphony DPNs. So these are 2.25. That's the size that I use, and I've literally just got that much done. So I did those rows walking to church on Sunday. So that's that. So the yarn that's not yarn, that is a receipt. The yarn is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature Sparkle 4-ply, and the colourway is Vintage Tinsel. So it is a 75% wool, 23% nylon, 2% polyester. So the polyester would be the sparkle. And I really enjoy working with the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. And I do tend to go for the Christmassy colours. I do have a couple of balls of the non-Christmassy colours in my commercial sock yarn bag. I think I've got a blue one, and I might have the oh, I don't know now. I know I have a blue one. I don't know what, I can't remember. I know I have at least one more ball of this. Oh, I'm losing track of what I own. That's not good, is it? So this is in my little bag. Oh, it's got fluff on it. From the type I bought from Bellica Yarns. And I love this bag. It just sits over the arm. Any bag that's like this. I might, next yarn show I go to, which I might just wait until Bakewell and go to Bakewell, save up throughout the year and go to Bakewell and have a splurge rather than to have 2 yarn shows to go to. I've been trying to go to 2 a year, but I'm just not using the yarn as fast as I'd like to that I buy. So I need to either go with an aim to buy less yarn, or go with a specific plan for something I'm particularly looking for, rather than just, oh, that looks pretty, let's buy that. Oh, that looks pretty, let's buy that. But I'm definitely in the market for another one of these bags. It would be nice to have a slightly summery one for the summer, rather than, I mean, this is, someone actually commented that looked a little bit Christmassy. But And my girls realised that the stars and the moon were glow in the dark when we were on holiday a few weeks ago. We were on the Pickering to Whitby train, the steam train, and we went through this tunnel, and it was a long tunnel, so it was really dark, and the stars and the moon started to glow, and they were absolutely amazed by it. And they spent a lot of the rest of the journey to Whitby sort of doing this, sort of blocking the light out so that they could see the glow in the dark, which was really cute. Oh, I've not put that sock back in the bag. I'll need that so I can transfer the markers as I go. So that's that whip. What am I going to show next? Okay, so one thing I will mention is I had hoped to have the piece of cake MKAL finished, because I have got the last part of that now. However, I put all of the squares, barring the last 8 squares, in a bag safely somewhere in my bedroom, and I think it's got a little bit buried, so I need to do some digging. So it will get finished, just not sure when. So if you are looking out for my piece of cake MKAL, then do apologise, it's not there yet. I do also need to get an introduction video done for my blanket along, because that's starting soon. That starts at the end of this month, so we're in May now, so at the end of May I will be starting my blanket along, so that's a good one to look out for. I haven't picked out the yarn, so so last year I picked a yarn pack for this. Ooh, nearly fell off the sofa then. That'll be one for the bloopers, no doubt. I did a yarn pack for this as the prize, and Melissa of Knit and Crochet Spot won that one, though she's not posted a video in a while, so I hope she's okay. I need to get browsing and make a decision about what blanket I'm buying for. If you have any suggestions of yarn packs that I could possibly look at to use as a prize, it would be nice to maybe get a prize that people would actually want. Do leave me a comment below. See, that's it. Right, so next project. I am quite crochet heavy this week. I haven't done huge amounts of knitting. So the knitting that I have done has been on my mystery knit along from Expression Fibre Arts, which I'll be showing you in a bit. But yeah, it's mostly been crochet. And I can't remember if I've shown you my progress on my mystery crochet along from Expression Fibre Arts. I'm all up to date on that one. I'm well behind on the knitting one, but I'm up to date with that. Okay, anyway, that's enough of my wittering. I did promise I wasn't going to whiz through everything today, so I hope you've all got a cup of tea or something. The next project, so I've been working on this when I've been upstairs for various reasons. So, oh gosh, tangle. So this is Catherine's Abigail fairy dress. Is it Abigail fairy dress? Oh, my files. I've got it downloaded. So it's a paid for pattern. Yes, it is Abigail fairy dress. And it's designed to be made using sort of the Sheepy's Well type yarn cakes. So it is designed by Crystal Riley Watts, and the instructions are written in such a way that you can pretty much work it out as you go along. Now, I've just noticed looking at this little girl's dress that the body on her dress is quite short compared to the skirt. Now the body on this is much longer, and I'm not sure, maybe I did something a little bit wrong. Oh well, Catherine likes it as it is. So yeah, so there's no particular like stitch counts, anything like that. It's just guidance. So this is how you do what you do. This is the pattern, the stitch pattern that you're following. Do it to fit. So you start with the foundation chain to basically go comfortably around here, and then you work from there. I don't think that's giving too much of the pattern away. So here it is. So as you can see, the body on this is quite long, but then Catherine does have a really long body, and I'm on the skirt, so it's going really well. Now I can't remember the colours, the colour name of this one. I know that as soon as I finish this one, I have to start one for Emily because she wants one. But she's chosen a different colour. Oh gosh, I'm so tangled up. So yes, I've just been working on the skirt. I think I've probably got about 8 or so rows in over the last couple of weeks. So I've just been picking it up when I've been upstairs. So I got a good 3 rows done, bearing in mind we're talking, it's a massive circumference, so it's sort of going all the way around. It's a huge circumference. So yeah, so I've been, yeah, so I have had a video call on Wednesday evening for my first aid training for brownies, and I sort of had my hands down. I was listening and paying attention because I'm at the stage now. It's just round and round and round, and you just have to remember to do the right stitches at the point and miss the stitches in the dips. And yeah, so I was just sort of focusing on what they were saying, but just crocheting along as I was going on. So this is how much I have left. So I'm using 2 cakes. So I started off alternating the rows and just winding off what was left of a colour when I'd got to the end of a colour. However, now I'm just sort of doing a colour stage on one ball until it's done, and then doing the same colour stage until it's done on the next ball, just because I need the dress to be long enough for Catherine. She's quite a modest preteen. She doesn't like things really, really short. So she's preferably wants it knee length. I did say that she may have to wear some leggings underneath it if it does end up too short, because when this is gone, that's it, I'm stopped. I'm done. So that's that. So I can tell you what the yarn is because I've got Emily's yarn in here. And I've got 2 cakes of the yarn for Emily's, although given how much I've wound off from Catherine's, I might be able to get away with just the 1 cake. So it is the Yarn Art cakes from the Flowers range. So they don't really have colour names. This one's colour 265. This is the colour that Emily chose. And I need to find out from her which side I'm starting from, dark to light or light to dark. So it is, there's 1,000 metres on a cake. It's 250 grams. It's 55% cotton and 45% PAC, pack. So there it is. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to guess acrylic. That's what pack means, I'm going to guess. Because these are really cheap for these sorts of type things. I think I spent about £7 or £8 on each one from, I think it was Littlest Yarn Company. Actually, do I still have their card? Yes, I do. Still have their card. Oh, Our Little Craft Company. There it is. So very, very cheap. Lots of yarn. I didn't look at much of the other bits and pieces that they have there on their website, but certainly I'll be using them for more of these sorts of yarn cakes because they were just lovely, and they came in one of these lovely little bags, and I'm keeping these in my Chatsworth bag. I treated myself to this when we did a day trip to Chatsworth with the girls a little while back. I think it's lovely. And the girls love Chatsworth. And it's being done using a 3.5mm hook. So this one's just a cheapy one. I do have the Clover Amore in a 3.5. I'm not sure if I'm using that on a different project. I can't remember. There we go, that's that one. Put that over there, out of the way. Okay, so I've got one last crochet project, which is a new start, and then I'll show you my knit along. So my new start, which is living in a printed bag from Andy of Attic Spin Dye. Now this is a Fly Long Crochet, which is a Discworld reference. So Andy did used to have a range of Discworld themed yarns, but he had to rename them because the Discworld people contacted him and told him off. So the dark bidding is an amazing colour. I haven't looked on his Etsy shop to see if that's still available, but if it is, it's a beautiful colour. I've made socks with it for Simon and he does wear them. He actually wears something I made. So this is another endeavour to use some of my sock yarn stash. And this one, oh no, just had a stitch marker fly off this. Now was that just because it was in the bag or has it come undone? Oh, I hope not. Anyway, so this is a pattern that I've got from my Readly app. It is in the Simply Crochet magazine. Let me just go. It's issue 135. And oh, where's it gone? There it is. And it's called Flower Child. The minute I saw this, I was like, I need that top in my life. I need to wear a top as beautiful and colourful as that. And it's designed by Fran Morgan, and it is designed for West Yorkshire Signature 4-ply sock yarn. Now, we all know Helen has a lot of sock yarn, so I've had a little idea. So for the main colour, to use one of my balls of, well, one of my 100-gram skeins of yarn. So I decided to go for one of my commercially dyed yarns. This is Zigzag, and Emily has made off with the yarn band. So this is King Cole Zigzag, so I can't tell you what colour it is, although I think it's something like pinks. There it is, lovely colour. I think it's something like pinks anyway. So this is I've done one of the bottoms, so it'll go like that, and there's how far I am on the second one. So, and then I'm basically going to be working it each step for each one, and I'm planning on using some of the 20-gram minis I have. So a little while ago I used to subscribe to a 20-gram mini subscription, so I used to get 3, I think it was 3 a month, and they've just been building up and building up and building up. I've just not been using them. So I thought this yarn was great because there's lots of like little flecks of other colours in there. So the plan is I'm going to go through those mini skeins and pick out all of them, the colours that would go well with this. So obviously there's a green, there's some yellow in here. So yeah, I'm going and obviously pick out some of the pinks, and I'm just going to work on it. So the zigzag parts, and then there's some little granny squares at the top. well, they're sort of flower squares. They're only, so about 3 or 4 rounds on there, each one. So again, some of my 20 gram minis, some of my 10 gram minis, and then you sort of put it all together into the top. So I'm looking forward to wearing this. I'm not sure when that will be, depends on when this next rolls round to be worked on with my decision wheel. So I think the next project that I work on is my Harry Potter crochet book projects, which at the moment is a pair of fingerless mitts. So this is being worked up with a 3.25mm hook, and I'm using one of my Crochet Society hooks. So that's that. I can't wait to see how that goes a little bit further. So my last whip is the mystery knit along from Expression Fibre Arts. So let's try and get myself untangled again. So this problem is because you always have 2 balls of yarn attached, so it's you're always fighting with 2 ends rather than just the one. So this is going to be a large wrap when it's finished. Oh, I've just noticed how cool that pattern looks. See, I don't see that when I'm working on it. So obviously the zigzags I can see now, although it's not as defined when I look at it straight on, which is very strange. So I am on part 4. So part 1 was this seed stitch, moss stitch edge. Part 2 was just a slip 1, knit 1 mosaic. Part 3 is this really lovely zigzag, which I found I did have problems following, and I'm having even more problems following this one, so I don't know if you can tell, but there is a section where I've just done a straight stitch of garter in one colour because I ticked off the wrong row on my pattern that I've got written out. I copied it from the download, and I ticked off the wrong one. So then when I started to look, it's like, uh-oh. So to try and get it back on track for the pattern, I have just knitted a plain garter stitch row and carried on with the pattern as I should have going forward. So that is the project so far. So the yarns I'm using, so the 2 colours are currently attached is this one. This is a Rosie's Moments yarn, and it is called Stormy Sunset. Yes, it is Stormy Sunset. How about that for remembering? I'm working with all of my 4-ply sock yarns, so it's all 75/25, although this one was Silent Night, so it's a sparkle, so 2% of that 25 will be the polyester for the sparkle. So this is gorgeous yarn. I love this colour so much. I might, next time I see her at a yarn show, or the next time I'm in the market to buy some nice sock yarn, I might get one of these. Get some more of these. This would make a lovely, I don't know, lovely jumper maybe. Jumper, sweater's quantity of hand-dyed yarn. Woo. Maybe, I don't know, maybe when I can trust Simon not to shrink it. So the colour that was in the email, obviously I'm trying to stick as close to the colourway that is that Expression Fibre Arts are releasing. However, I am not made of money and buying yarn, particularly hand-dyed yarn, from the States would be prohibitively expensive. So I'm just shopping my stash. How about that? I'm shopping my stash. And this one is a yarn that I've had for a little while. So it's sort of a grey with lots of coloured speckles. Now I am regretting my colour choice on this one. There were 2 this sort of shade greys that I had, and some of the speckles in this are quite dark, so I'm not always obvious when I'm coming back. So with mosaic knitting, you sort of knit the pattern, then on the next row you work your way back, you slip the slipped stitches and knit the knit stitches. But this sometimes it's hard to see which ones are the slipped stitches because the colours are similar in areas. So this is an Attic spin dye yarn, and I'm finally getting around to using one of my subscription yarns that I have been getting Andy's subscriptions pretty much since he started doing them. So he did the Bird of the Month, which was lovely. There was Alice in Wonderland. This one's from Alice in Wonderland. This one's chapter 12, Alice's Evidence. And I'm currently been getting the Beatrix Potter ones. So there was also a Vintage Whimsy. Unfortunately, Andy made the decision to stop doing that one because not enough people were buying it, which I fully support, because if you're a small business, you need to obviously make it financially worthwhile doing. So it's just sad. But all of Andy's colours are amazing, by the way. I am a little bit of an Attic spin dye addict. So yeah, so this is Alice's Evidence. Again, it's a 75/25. I think the other yarn that was in contention was also an Attic spin dye yarn. But it's been quite fun to pull out all of my hand dyed yarns to help to sort of and hold it up against the emails. Like, does that look like that colour? It's been quite fun to do that. So I'll be working on this tonight. So that's that. Pop that there ready. So yeah, so it's just my incoming to do now. So let's see if I can get it done before my 8 minutes 30 seconds is up, before I have to pause it and restart. So just one bit of incoming. Scrolling through Facebook. When was it now? Just before the last bank holiday. So we're just going into one bank holiday for the coronation. So last week was also a bank holiday for May Day. Just having a little bit of a scroll, and I came across an advert from Hobie Yarns advertising last year's knitting advent calendars at half price. So I strongly considered buying one at full price last Christmas. I'm glad that I didn't because what I received I think is a fair cost for what I paid, which was half price. So full price was £84 and the half price one obviously £42. It does come with patterns, and the format is that you got 4 boxes. Let's see if I can get them all out in one go. Woo! No, I can't get them all out in one go. So you've got 4 boxes. Each one you would open on each week of Advent. So obviously Advent is a 4-week period, and you would do this. So yes, I sit and you would get the yarns. So box 1, I have opened them. Box 1 is this. So you would get, we got 4 50 gram balls of these. It is really nice yarn. So they're 100% acrylic. It's their Amigo acrylic, and I don't think they do. No, they don't do colour names. So we've got this red, this mustard, the green, and the white. And in here we also got a ruler with a magnifying glass. And this rather nice little bag, which is going to come in handy for Catherine's camp, because she's going to 2 or 3 Girl Guide camps in the summer, and she needs to have a cloth bag to put her plates and things in. So she'll be taking possession of that now I've shown it. So that's that. And the pattern, let's bring it up, for this is some mini Merry Christmas ornaments. So there they are, some little Christmas sweaters. I'm not quite sure what else. There's a little hat and a little bell, I think it is. So that was the free pattern to go with that. So I thought that from first, you know, that's not too bad. Let's put this back in. Actually, I think I am going to have to pause because I've got 5 minutes left and I've got 3 boxes left to show. So I think I'll do that now. Okay, right, okay, so box 2, that's box 4. Here's box 2. Lovely reindeer on top. I'm not sure the thinking behind the pixelated pictures, they were a little bit strange. So here is box 2. So in box 2 we have rainbow 8-ply sock wool. So it's a, I think 8-ply is, looking at the needle sizes, it's a DK sock yarn. It's 75% wool, 25% polyamide. Again, no colours, but we've got this, they're lovely colours. Love the colours, the green and the grey together. And then this little, I don't like this at all, it's really scratchy. This is the Arctica, and it's 100% wool, and I really do not know what purpose it has to be in the box. It's horrible. That one won't get used. And in here, the extras, we've got some little cotton handmade labels, and then some little cards, little postcards. So, and they are cute. So we've got, sorry about the rustling guys, but these are too cute to show in the plastic. So we've got 2 of these, a lady with yarn hair knitting with her winding yarn, and then we've got 2 of these, I will always love you. And then 2 of these, made with love. And I quite liked that little extra, and the little cotton tags would come in handy as well. I'll just pick that up by the label and not the yarn. So this stuff feels amazingly soft. It almost has a cotton feel to it, which is strange because it's wool. And the pattern for these is a pair of DK slipper socks. Toasty socks. So I'll definitely have a go at making those, because that sort of goes towards my goal of trying to do some colour work this year, assuming I get to start them this year. So box number 3 has got amazing, gorgeous yarn in this one, if I'm remembering the boxes in the right order. Yes. So in here we have this. Oh, this is so soft. This is so soft. So we have a peacock, which is 100% polyester, which is why it's so soft. And it's like a teddy bear yarn. I was very surprised when the pattern was not a teddy bear. I'm going to have to make a teddy bear out of this. And a 100% of premium acrylic kind feather. It's called Kind Feather, and it's anti-pilling. So they're both 100-gram balls. And we've got some little handmade sort of wooden hearts that you put on a teddy bear. We've got some little wooden buttons. And because a crafter can never have too many pairs of scissors, these are really weighty. There's some good weight to these. But these are in the style of an electric guitar, which is really cute. So that's those. I've got so many pairs of scissors. But I really, this out of all of the boxes, I think this for the yarn was my favourite. Although the pattern was very perplexing as to why they went that way instead of a teddy bear, because they've done mittens, and I don't particularly like these. I don't think I'll be making these. I think I'll be finding something else to make with that yarn. They must have a teddy bear pattern. They must have a teddy bear pattern for that peacock yarn. And then box 4, quite possibly my least favourite box, and you'll find out why in a moment. The extras in this box are pretty cool, but the yarn is alpaca. So it's a bit strange really, because this alpaca, while it does irritate my hands, it doesn't irritate it as much as other alpaca yarn that I've used. But again, I don't think this yarn will get used because I wouldn't have any use for whatever I made with it for a start. So it's alpaca lace, soft alpaca lace. It's 100. This one's 100% alpaca, and I can tell it's irritating my hands. It's a 50-gram ball, so you get 400 meters. Obviously, it is lace weight. And then there's this one. This is Alpaca Blaze. Oh gosh, there's no easy way to hold this. Alpaca Blaze. And this one is 40% acrylic, 30% alpaca, and 30% polyamide. I mean, I don't like floofy yarns anyway, so just even without it being alpaca, this wouldn't get used. So if anybody would like some alpaca yarn, it's never been used, it's been sat in my box the whole time, do drop me either a comment down below or email me, and I shall maybe get those sent off to you. There is a pattern to go with them that you can use them on. Right, okay, for some reason I have 2 large rubber bands in there. Thank you, Emily. So in here for the extras, we've got this little pot of stitch markers, which is really cool. In fact, if you do decide to go for I picked it up by the if you do go decide for I might pop this in with it, because I have a million gazillion of these types of stitch markers. And in here we have some, I think they're cedar, aren't they? Oh, it doesn't say on there. I think they're cedar hearts. I think that's the wood, because it's called Yarn Care. So I know that cedar wood is supposed to be like a moth repellent, and we don't want moths anywhere near our precious yarn, do we? Also got 2 blunt tip darning needles. Whether or not I use those, I don't know. I've got a couple of darning needles I tend to use more than any others. And then this is going to come in handy for my training, for my promotion. It is a notebook and it's covered in yarn. It's dots as opposed to lines though, so I'll have to be sort of make sure I'm very careful to stay straight lines. But yes, so I'll be starting my training soon for my recently promoted position. I've just recently been promoted to personal banker at the bank that I work, which basically means I can do account opening rather than just general inquiries and cash transactions. So I'm quite looking forward to that. And so I'm going to need a book to take notes for my training to help me remember all the many new things I'm going to have to learn how to do. So this is going to go into my locker at work now that I've shown it. So yes, that was the Hobie knitting advent from last year. So obviously based on that little selection, personally, would I have been happy if I'd paid £84 for that? No. I was okay with paying the £40 because I felt with the yarn and the extras, £40 was the right price point. But £80 was just, it's not made me want to go ahead and buy one this year. Certainly if they have sale following Christmas, I'll give them a look. So they do a knitting one and a crochet one. They're completely sold out of the crochet ones, otherwise I would have bought one of those as well. But certainly I'm going to keep an eye out in the new year to see if they have them reduced straight away after Christmas or not. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. So that is everything I have to show. And it's 8:14, so it's definitely time to put everything away, get myself some chocolate and pour myself a gin and tonic. I think that's a plan for the evening. So it's been great having another catch up, and I'm glad that today I didn't have to rush through everything and been able to take my time talking to you about my projects. Hopefully I'll see you again in 2 weeks. I do, like I said earlier, I do have the intention to do a video every 2 weeks, but sometimes if it's been a really stressful, busy week, the last thing I want to do on a Friday evening is sit in front of a camera. I just want to pour myself a drink and do some knitting or some crochet rather than talk about it. So yeah, so I look forward to seeing you all again soon. And like I said, do drop me a line if you have any kind of use for that alpaca. I don't want it, so I might as well just give it away to somebody who may want it. So yeah, maybe I don't know, just say in the comments you want it and I'll do a random comment checker or something like that to see who gets it. So I shall see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye.